What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Oh, welcome into episode 164, everybody. I am your host, Sleazeball. Today's episode will be my Week 13 top 36 wide receivers, tier by tier by tier. Before we dive into it, guys, make sure you smash that like, make sure you smash that subscription, turn that bell on. It helps me out a ton. I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support this season. You guys can also check out my defense, kickers, quarterbacks, running backs. All those videos are up. And I'm going to try and get my tight ends either tonight or tomorrow morning before the live show tomorrow. So we will be live tomorrow with two amazing guests. Big Draft Energy and Michael Rip will be on there as well. And we'll be covering everything for Week 13 from about 11 p.m. Eastern to 12 p.m. Eastern right before kickoff. So all the questions you guys have. And if you cannot make the live stream tomorrow, you can drop any comment you want down below. One of my goals is to answer every single one of them to help you get that weekly win and get you that ultimate goal of a championship, guys. And let's dive into my Week 13 wide receiver top 36 rankings. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is my wide receiver board here for Week 13. Ballers tier at the top, must start wide receivers. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4, Tier 5. We're going to crank through 36. Usually I'll have pictures down here at the bottom, but there is no bye weeks this week, so there's no players to keep on the bottom there. So let's dive into it here. My wide receiver one on the week is going to be Nico Collins of the Houston Texans. They're going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 43.5 over under. And the Jags are coming off a bye, yes. But the Jaguars are, if you've subscribed to my channel or been here before, they're my fantasy football pot of gold. They can't stop the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, or tight end. And versus the wide receiver guys, they give up 39.7 points per game. That ranks 30th, 16th in the red zone. But you know Nico Collins is going to hit that big bomb over top in this game. He's been limited off the injury with snaps. I expect him to be full go in this game. They also give up 183.5 yards, which is third worst in the NFL, just yards per game of the wide receiver alone. And they give up 1.2 touchdowns per game to the wide receiver position, which is 31st in the NFL, which is last as well. So I know CJ Stroud needs to break out of his slump. There is no better slump buster game than the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, I rank CJ Stroud lower just because he is struggling. I love everything about this matchup for the Houston Texans across the board, and I expect Nico Collins to be my wide receiver one this week. Wide receiver number two is going to be A.J. Brown in the monster game, Philadelphia Eagles versus the Baltimore Ravens this week. Man, I cannot wait for this game. Huge implications on both sides for both teams in this game. The over-under right now, I believe, is at 51.5, which is absolutely bonkers. They think this many points are going to fly in this game. Eagles 9-2, Ravens 8-4. And why do I like A.J. Brown so much this week? Well, let me just show you here. And I think that I honestly messed up here as well here too. So hang on. I think I didn't even add Devonta Smith in here, but hang on. So Baltimore Ravens right now, dead last versus the wide receiver, giving up 41.7, 24th in the red zone, 185.8 yards per game, which is second worst in the NFL. Remember, Jacksonville Jaguars barely behind them. That's why you got to like these matchups so much. 1.3 touchdowns a game they give up to the wide receiver. That is the highest rate in the NFL. That is why I love A.J. Brown this week. Now, heading into wide receiver number 3 here, I'm going to come back to where Devonta Smith is. I need to add him back in. I got to check the injury updates and stuff on him. Number 3, the struggle bus, Justin Jefferson. I can't explain what's going on. For some reason, last week, he decided to go quiet and let everyone else go off. Hawkinson, Jordan Addison was wide receiver 1. Aaron Jones went off. So this is 3 straight games now. He's been 48, 81, 27. I expect that to change here against the Arizona Cardinals. Although the Cardinals defense is getting better. They rank 18th versus the wide receiver, giving up 32.7, 26th in the red zone. So the touchdown upside is very high. 151.4 yards, which is middle of the pack there, and an 80% chance of the touchdown of the wide receiver. And you know that Sam Darnold's like, all right, dude, everyone else just went off in this game. It's time to get Justin Jefferson going here. Do not panic. He's going to bounce back this week. Number 4 wide receiver run this week for me, and he's coming. This is the best match you can get. Mike Evans right here. So, again, another fantasy football pot of gold defense is the Carolina Panthers. So, it was his first game back last week. He only played 60% of the snaps. They had the game in hand versus the New York Giants, so he didn't get the same workload. And he's coming off an injury, and he's older. So now you're going to get a game here where they need to get back to 500 at 6-6. You get the Carolina Panthers. They can't stop anything at all in fantasy football, but they do rank 13th versus the wide receiver, giving up 30.7, 17th in the red zone, so a top 15 defense. But when you look at those numbers, those numbers are skewed because they struggle so much versus the run that their wide receiver numbers just go up because teams just keep pounding the run on them. So I don't even really buy that they're a top 15 defense. I would say more of a top 22, 25. That, again, when they get the run pounded on them, their passing numbers get better. So 136.8 passing yards and a 90% chance of a touchdown to the wide receiver for one touchdown. So Mike Evans now going to see a bigger workload off the injury. Trying to get back in the playoff hunt at 6-6. Baker Mayfield's going to pepper him with 10 to 11 targets in this game. He's going to find the end zone. Mike Evans is going to have a big day here. He's my wide receiver 4. Wide receiver 5 coming fresh off the bye is Jamar Chase. No matter what, the wide receiver 1 in the season, he has been absolutely bonkers. But this is going to be a tough matchup for Jamar Chase. This is why I have him lower. Kind of like when you're looking at my running back rankings, why I had Saquon Barkley lower, because he's going up against a tough defense in the run game. And now Jamar Chase is going up against a tough defense in the pass game. The Pittsburgh Steelers are number 6 versus the wide receiver, number 6 in the red zone, only giving up 28.3 points. Porter Jr. is one of the most shadowing corners in the NFL, so he's probably going to draw a lot of Jamar Chase in this game. And they only give up 146.6 pass yards, which is top 10 in the NFL, and a 50% chance to touchdown to the wide receiver. This Pittsburgh Steelers defense is very good. Is Jamar Chase balling out of his mind right now? Yes, he is. It's just a temper expectation ranking for me because I think the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is one of the best defenses in the NFL. It's going to be a tough matchup for him. Number 6 is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown going up against the Chicago Bears. And again, you have a very tough matchup here, but the Lions are at home. So when the Lions are at home, the numbers for Jared Goff are just a lot better inside the dome. It's always been bad on the road. You can pull up any tweet, any statistic, go Jared Goff home versus away, and he always just bombs. Now, I know the Chicago Bears defense is very good. They're number 4 versus the wide receiver. Jalen Johnson, a very good shadowing corner, but he only kind of plays one side of the field. They'll move Amon-Ra away from him. They'll move him in the slot. The Bears rank 4th, give up 27.5. 4th in the red zone at 138.1 yards, which is top 5. Again, they're going to have to worry about Jahmyr Gibbs. They're going to have to worry about David Montgomery. He's back out there, a top offensive line. Amon-Ra is still going to eat in this game, although the matchup is tough. And, I forgot, when I do these, I usually talk about 2 of my wide receivers here. So I need to pull up where Jameson Williams is at. He's down at wide receiver 31 for me. He could also catch a bomb and make a play here, there. You know that. To go along with Nico Collins, I have Tank Dell at number 35. I love the matchup for the Jags again. I just think this is the Nico Collins go bonkers game. And for the Minnesota Vikings with Justin Jefferson at 3, I have Jordan Addison at 34. I know he popped off as wide receiver 1. I still don't trust that to happen again. I don't care. I'm not ranking him higher just because he popped off 1 week. On the Bengals side, I talked about Jamar Chase. I've got to get better at this. I always forget. I've got T. Higgins at wide receiver 21. Again, you're going up against the Steelers. Honestly, I should maybe even think about ranking T. Higgins higher because Jamar Chase is probably going to draw the most of Porter Jr. So it could open things up for T. Higgins here as well. But that Pittsburgh defense is good all the way around. So we're caught up there. Heading down to number 7 and number 8. They are side by side. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, the duo that Matt Stafford is just feeding like crazy when they're out there healthy. You're starting every single one of these guys. And you get the New Orleans Saints this week, guys. And Lattimore was traded. So this defense is even worse than what the numbers look like. So 36.2 wide receiver points per game. That ranks 27th. They do have a good front 7. So their red zone, they're number 2 in the red zone, giving up 3.6, but 178.1 yards, which is bottom 5 in the NFL in yards allowed just to the wide receiver position, and a 70% chance to a touchdown for 1 a game for a wide receiver. You can cook up Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp every time they're out there. And this is the first time I'm ranking Puka Nacua higher than Cooper Kupp on the season. Just a little note there. Number 9, one of my favorite wide receiver plays on the week. George Pickens is about to go bonkers on the Cincinnati Bengals. He had bad weather last week versus snow, or before the bye for them. Or no, it wasn't the bye for them. In the snow, couldn't see the touchdown. All the plays, he's beating everybody man to man. This guy's a nightmare to cover. You get the Cincinnati Bengals. They give up 33.8 points per game to the wide receiver position, which ranks 22nd. They do have a good run game, so obviously their front seven is great in the red zone, but I don't care. George Pickens is a big body, throw it up, jump ball, go getter. So red zone numbers do not scare me with players like him, DK Metcalf, wide receivers like that does not scare me. The Cincinnati Bengals also give up 155.7, which is middle of the pack, and about a 90% chance to a touchdown to the wide receiver each game. I love George Pickens and Russell Wilson this week. Number 10 is going to be CeeDee Lamb, and he's been just a model of consistency for a floor, wide receiver, high-end wide receiver too, right? So he's had 16, 18, and 4. So he's averaging about, you could say 16, 14, 15 points a game in full play in PPR. That's fine. You're just not going to get that CeeDee Lamb ceiling play unless he scores a touchdown. Cooper Rush banged up right now. I haven't seen the update on him. He's probably going to be out there. You're going up against the New York Giants. The New York Giants led by Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito, whoever's going to be out there. You got to check the updates there as well. This offense is going to be terrible. But the New York Giants are actually not bad versus the wide receiver. They rank 11th. They give up 30.6. They rank 8th in the red zone, so about a top 9 to 10 defense all the way around. 139 yards, which is top 10 as well, and a 0.9 chance for a wide receiver to get one touchdown. And CeeDee Lamb hasn't got a touchdown in 5 games or 4 games. So he only has 3 touchdowns on the year, which is absolutely bonkers with the volume he's seeing. 12 targets, 10 targets, 12 targets, 17. Like, unbelievable. It's just bad quarterback play is really going to hurt the Cowboys the rest of the way. And I honestly think this is more of a Rico Dowdle game. But I'm not ranking CeeDee Lamb outside my top 10 anymore, no matter what. Number 11, the struggle of Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's playing with the broken wrist or whatever the update is, but his legs still should be able to get free enough to go catch a deep ball, and it just hasn't been happening. You're going to get Jalen Waddle at 33 also. You're going to get Tua in the snow. He's 0-7 and under freezing weather. You're playing Green Bay, a great defense all the way around. And I know the Dolphins are fighting for their life, so that's why I kind of still have Tua and Tyreek and Waddle as playable plays, because this is a big game for the Dolphins here. So when you're looking at the Packers defense, they rank 7th, giving up 28.7. They rank 22nd in the red zone, so high touchdown upside when they get down there. 128.3 passing yards given up, which is top 5. So very good defense here, and an 80% chance for a wide receiver to get one touchdown. Still, I'm throwing out Tyreek Hill as a startable play every single week. I know it's been a little slump right here. I don't care. This guy can break fantasy football at any moment. Number 12, and it's time for me to apologize to Cortland Sutton. I've been ranking him lower every single time, and this guy is just a 30-point monster, right? So, 30-point, 14-point, 19-point, 23, 17-point. Get Cortland Sutton in your lineup at all costs. This man is going bonkers. One thing I didn't touch on with the Eagles, I passed over Devonta Smith. So he didn't even practice today. I'm going to put him at wide receiver 36. He's been struggling either way, even though the matchup is absolutely great versus the Baltimore Ravens and how many pass yards they give up. So pay attention to his injury updates. And I'm going to swap in right now. If Devonta Smith is out, I would go with Jacoby Myers. So I'm going to put both of them here like this. I'm going to put Devonta kind of to the right here with him, because we don't know if he's going to be out there or not. And he's been struggling either way. Heading down to wide receiver 13 here, the guy I've been telling everybody to just start paying attention to since the DeAndre Hopkins trade, and I hope people are finally on board, because Will Levis is absolutely balling, and this is Calvin Ridley. So just look at since week 8, 23 points, 12 points, 27 points, 9 points, 15 points, almost averaging 10 targets a game in this game. He's getting a 30% target share. You're going up against the Washington Commanders this week, and I know you could have Marshawn Lattimore out there. We don't know the injury update with him yet. You're going to have to pay attention to that throughout the week, but that could really help him if he's not. And when you're looking at the Commanders defense, they rank 16th versus the wide receiver, giving up 32.1, 21st in the red zone, 140 yards per game, which is middle of the pack, and 1.1 TDs. So Calvin Ridley has a very good chance to score here in the red zone against the Commanders, and Will Levis has this offense humming right now. Number 14, Trevor Lawrence practiced on Monday. Looks like he's going to be good to go. BTJ, I am going to rank him higher than most this week because I love this matchup. You're going up against the Houston Texans. They are a very good front seven. Where does Houston struggle versus the wide receiver? They rank 25th, giving up 35.8. So they rank 5th in the red zone. Like I said, very good front seven there. and they give up 156.4 yards, which is bottom 10 in the NFL in yards allowed to the wide receiver, and a 1.4 touchdown to the wide receiver, which is worst in the NFL. So a very high touchdown upside here for BTJ. Christian Kirk out, Gabe Davis out. It's going to be just BTJ and Evan Ingram. They're going to absolutely feast the rest of the season. Get BTJ in your lineups this week. Number 15 for me is going to be Drake London, and this is going to be another tough matchup here going up against the Los Angeles Chargers this week. Now, Kirk Cousins is kind of struggling here too. So that's what's kind of worrying me as the past couple of games here. Kirk hasn't been the same. Hopefully the bye week helped them. The Chargers are number 14 versus the wide receiver, getting up 31.1, 18th in the red zone, 140.8 pass yards allowed, which is top 15, and a 1.1 touchdown chance. So Drake London does have a chance in the red zone here to get a TD. And Darnell Mooney was kind of banged up. You know, Bijan Robinson going to be out there healthy. Everyone's coming back off the bye. Could be a mid-tier lower ranking for me on Drake London. I'm just kind of scared of that Chargers defense and Khalil Mack being back out there and how they're going to get after Kirk Cousins. He has no mobility in the pocket. So that's one thing that really worries me in this game against the Chargers. Ferocious defense. Number 16 and number 17. I know Jay Season is absolutely balling in fantasy football right now. I'm still not going to rank him over DK Metcalf. I know that sounds like, if you look at the numbers the past couple of weeks, DK's been banged up, right? And the Seattle Seahawks now coming off their big win, getting the division lead. And that's exactly what they need in the NFC West. They're going to get the New York Jets. And the New York Jets on paper are number one. Number one versus the wide receiver. Get up 26.5. They rank 12th in the red zone, so a little higher touchdown upside there. 122.6 yards, which is second best in the NFL allowed, and a 60% chance for a touchdown. This is why I have them ranked lower. And the Jets are probably going to be fighting for their life here to see if they can keep their season alive. If they win out, that's the only possibility they really have. And you're going to have Sauce and Reed out there. Two of the best corners, probably the best duo in the NFL. So very scary matchup here for both of them. They line up J Season everywhere, but I expect DK to have a big game here and bounce back finally. Number 18 is going to be DJ Moore. And I tried to tell people last week, do not give up on DJ Moore. Shane Waldron was the absolute problem in Chicago. And now that he's gone, DJ Moore has found a little rhythm, guys. 13 points, 27 points, 7 targets in both games, 7 receptions in both games, averaging 84 yards in both games, and found an end zone last week. And now you get the Detroit Lions. And the Detroit Lions front seven is very good. They stop the quarterback a lot, but where do they struggle? They give up tons of passing yards. So when I'm looking at it, they rank 28th. They give up 37 points to the wide receiver position, but they do rank third in the red zone because their front seven is very good. But 187.2 pass yards per game, which is third worst in the NFL just to the wide receiver position, with a 50% chance of a touchdown. And the way Caleb Williams has looked since Shane Waldron has been gone, he's looked better. Although they've lost to playoff contending teams back to back, should have won the game versus Green Bay with a field goal kick. Still, I like DJ Moore a ton this week in this game. Number 19 is going to be Malik Neighbors, and hopefully Drew Lock can come to the rescue here because it just looks like the Giants are just done, guys. Like, you can see Malik after the game in his little press conference, a little interview with the, reporter. It was terrible. He's like, that's not the problem. It's not the quarterback play. It's everything up to him. So it's absolute shambles across the board. And it looks like Drew Lock's going to be out there. And you're getting the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys defense is beat up across the board. Although they got a big win last week, they ranked 21st versus the wide receiver, getting 33.6, 19th in the red zone, 153.1 yards, and a 90% chance for one touchdown in the game. They've got to get this guy like 15 targets, like it was when he was Malik Neighbors at the beginning, 18, 12, 13, 13, 11. He needs, whenever he's under 10 targets, I'm mind blown. This guy is a superstar rookie. Get this man the ball. I'm okay with the start, although, man, it looks really rough right now in New York. Number 20 is going to be Jaden Reed. So Romeo Doubs ruled out. Hopefully we can get a little Jaden Reed bounce back game here. Like, he went from a top 4 wide receiver to start. He's still been like a floor play, 8 points, 17 points, 9 points, 6 points. Only played 57 and 50% of the snaps, although they blew the 49ers out last week, so he didn't really need to play in that game, which I called. I mean, I knew we were going to get mopped out. You're going up against Miami. The Packers have to hold stride here and get every single win they can. Miami's in a big game here. They've got to win to keep their season alive. I honestly think this is going to be a higher scoring game than people think in the cold. And both these defenses are top 6. So Miami's top 7. Miami's number 2. Green Bay's number 7. So Miami versus the wide receiver, they give up 26.6. That's number 2. They're number 1 in the red zone. 124.5 yards allowed, which is number 3 in the NFL. 50% chance of a touchdown. So can this guy pop the top off at any time? Yes. Having Romeo Doubs out will give him a couple more snaps here and there. Yes. He won't really draw much Ramsey or Fuller because he's more of a slot, gadget type player. So I think that'll be more of a Christian Watson or, Dontavian Wicks kind of look there. But, I'm waiting for Jaden Reed to pop. I'm still saying he's startable, but, man, it's been kind of rough here lately. Number 22 is going to be Terry McLaurin going up against the Tennessee Titans. I nailed Jaden Daniels as my quarterback 1 last week. And the plus side here is the Titans are very good versus the wide receiver. They're number 3. They only give up 27.2. They're 13th in the red zone, 122.5 passing yards as well, which is top 3 right there, and a 70% chance of a touchdown. But you do have Ladarius Sneed, their best corner, on IR. So should free up more opportunities for Terry McLaurin. Still startable, although it's going to look ugly on paper. Number 23 and number 24, man. This it just pains me, man. Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. These are superstar wide receivers, right? And look at the past week. 9 points and 5 points for Garrett Wilson. Devontae Adams, yeah, he got a touchdown, but it's Aaron Rodgers, and I hope this team can find some life off the bye here. Because you get the Seattle Seahawks, and it's not a bad matchup at all. They rank 17th, giving up 32.6, 20th in the red zone, so about a top 18, 19 defense, 140.1 yards and a touchdown a game to the wide receiver. And it's just Aaron Rodgers. This guy can't move in the pocket. He's got to figure it out. He's got to figure out how to get the ball to these guys. If they want to try and save their season here, I would rank them way higher. I usually do. It's just I don't trust the Jets anymore, and it just sucks, man, because I'm such a Garrett Wilson fan. Number 25 is going to be the rookie Ladd McConkey, who just needs to get the ball more, man. If you watched the game last week, this guy was absolutely perfect. 6 for 6 catches, 83 yards, 14.3 points in a great matchup versus Baltimore. Did the same thing versus Cincy with 18.3, 9 targets. I mean, you're getting the Atlanta Falcons. They funnel passes to the wide receiver 1 on a team. The Falcons ranked 29th versus the wide receiver, getting up 38.6. They're dead last in the red zone, giving up 10.7 points to the wide receiver, 157 yards in the middle of the pack, and 1.4 touchdowns a game to the wide receiver. Smashed Ladd McConkey. You just saw Quentin Johnson have big drops last week, so you probably know it's going to be a little couple less looks his way. Josh Palmer looked okay, but Ladd McConkey's their go-to guy. And, Will Dissly, he's out there a little bit. He, 4 or 5 catches, maybe a game. But this is like a Malik Neighbors thing to me. This should be like an 8 to 12 target guy a game here. And Justin Herbert's knowing this now heading forward here. And I really like Ladd McConkey this week. It's just hard for me to rank him above these big name guys above him. Number 26 is going to be Zay Flowers. And I tried to say it last week as well. I know he got that big break catch that was like a 10-yard catch that turned into a 50-yard catch with his yak. His speed once he gets in the open field is ridiculous. But that saved his day. I mean, he was 8 targets, 5 receptions. They were all 2 to 5 yard passes. He's not a big body receiver. They have to gadget manufacture touches and manufacture plays for this guy. And you're going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. This is the secondary that allows the less yards in the NFL to the wide receiver position, but they rank 8th versus the wide receiver, getting up 29.2, 23rd in the red zone, 120 yards, well, like I said, which is the least yardage, and 0.8 chance for a touchdown here. So 80% chance for 1 touchdown for a wide receiver. And since Cooper DeJean has joined the party here, it's just been a way better secondary. Now, I know Slay could miss this game with concussion, so make sure you're paying attention there. That could help open up things for Flowers as well. But still, he's such a boomer bust guy. I try to stay away from boomer bust guys. Number 27 and 28, and this was really hard for me to rank here with the Buffalo Bills. So this game looks like it could be freezing. Looks like there could be snow, which means it could be more of a run game. The 49ers are 10th versus the wide receiver, getting up 29.7, but Ward should be back out there this week. Bosa should be back out there this week. Hopefully Greenlaw may be out there this week. So, I mean, the defense could be a lot better for the 49ers heading into this game. I just don't know if I trust the weather, so I'm going to give like a quick, I'll rank them 27 and 28. If it's not snowing and it's cold, I'd probably put them at like 23 324. I know Khalil Shakir is an absolute yak monster when he gets the ball. He's an absolute speedster. And Amari Cooper has opened things up for him as well. But 49ers defense get healthy. It's going to be a tough game here. And if it's snowing, it's going to be really rough for the wide receivers. Number 29, and this one really pains me, man. Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, you guys tell me in the comments, has he become just a boomer bust wide receiver? Is that a real thing right now? I mean, he got 20 points and 33 points. And besides that, it's been 5, 5, 3, 16, 7, 1, 15. So, I mean, and a 0 against Green Bay. I know he got banged up in that game. Still, he has not been at all what you thought in fantasy football. The schedule here gets amazing. You get the Minnesota Vikings. I really want to rank him like a top 15 wide receiver here. I just don't trust it. So the Minnesota Vikings, they rank 31st versus the wide receiver. 41.3 points, 30th in the red zone, 188.6 yards. That's last in the NFL in yards allowed. Do I still trust Marvin Harrison Jr.? No, I don't. But can you throw him out there as a start, as a wide receiver 3 flex play? Of course you can. It's just super hard for me to trust right now. Number 30 is going to be Deebo Samuel. And I'm staying away from Juan Jennings. I'm staying away from the rest of Purcell. Deebo would still be the 49er start. I've been trying to say that. I know he's been slumping with 12, 6, and 3 points. But they got blown out by Green Bay, so he didn't play more than 67% of the snaps. So that was a given that game was kind of done. You could tell by how they benched all their players anyways. And you're looking at a snow game here with Buffalo. So like I was saying with, Khalil Shakir and Amari Cooper, that's the weather update right now. It could obviously change before game time Sunday night, but I've seen pictures of like the snow plows and stuff and snow out there. It's always crazy snowing in Buffalo. And if it's snowing out there, yeah, they could manufacture some rushing plays for Deebo and stuff like that, but I don't trust the wide receivers. Just like I said in that Pittsburgh game, man. And people were like, oh, play your studs. No, you don't. Jerry Jeudy had a decent game, and that was literally just because everyone couldn't run in the snow. He can get a catch and go 15 yards from a 5-yard catch. You're not getting deep balls. You're not getting great touches when it's pouring down snow and it's ugly field. I'm staying away from them in this game. Number 32, DeAndre Hopkins bounced back with that TD last week. He's going to get the Las Vegas Raiders. But what you have to look at here is, they were in a game with the Carolina Panthers where the game was close all the way, and DeAndre Hopkins played 45% of the snaps. They were in a game against Buffalo where they needed to come back with a big winning chance. He played 47% of the snaps. And the 2 weeks before that, he'd played 60 and 65. So I'm really wondering what they're doing with DeAndre Hopkins, if they're trying to temper his expectations for the playoff stretch here, or what's going on. But he's not out there to get enough volume for me to rank him higher, although he still got a touchdown. He only had 5 catches for 35 yards. And the matchup, you get the Las Vegas Raiders. This is their strength. They're weak everywhere, but they're decent versus the wide receiver. They're 12th on the season, giving up 30.6. They are very bad in the red zone. The Raiders are terrible pretty much everywhere. 29th in the red zone, 131.6 yards, which is top 15, and a 90% chance for 1 touchdown. I mean, I don't hate the start. I don't love the start. I'm going to rank DeAndre Hopkins 32nd. Thanks for rocking with me today, guys. That is the end of the episode. That is my wide receiver top 36 tiers heading into week 13. Remember, there's no teams on a bye. Before we head out, guys, help me out. Do me a favor. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscription button. Turn that bell on. It helps me out a ton. I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support you guys have been showing me this year. It's been absolutely awesome. Again, we will be live tomorrow morning with 2 special guests. Big Draft Energy and Michael Rip will be answering your questions for an hour, about an hour 15 before kickoff for Thanksgiving. And then we're going to grub with the families and stuff like that. So, and if you guys can't make the show, drop any comment you want down below. I try to answer every single one of them. And that's it for me in this video. Hopefully I get my tight end video out next year after that, possibly tomorrow morning. But that's it for me in this video. Sleazeball out.